Occurred, July 22, 2023 3:36 Location, Indianapolis, Indiana. Shape, oval. Duration, 20 minutes. Characteristics: there was an aura or haze around the object. Animals reacted to the event. I've got more pictures. July 21, 2023 3:30 a.m. My dog was watching something, so I looked out the door and saw this orb flying around, darting back and forth. Then it flew up and was gone. July 22, 3:36 a.m. Dog was acting the same. Instead of the risk of scaring it off again, I watched this object on my surveillance camera from my phone. Sure enough, it was back. I started taking pictures. You cannot see through this object, and when blown up, you can see a slight glow around it.
Occurred, January 29, 2014 2 o'clock. Location, Beech Grove. In shape, triangle. Duration, 1.5 minutes. Characteristics: there were lights on the object, low flying, slow moving, had red and white lights. I was asleep when I awoke and saw an unusual bright light flickering from my window. I sat up and saw a low flying aircraft, too low to be an airplane. Reminded me of the height a motorized glider would fly. I normally can hear when planes or helicopters go over the house, but this made no sounds. There were red and white lights around it. The white lights were bright and solid, the red ones flickered. The aircraft didn't move fast, just slow and steady across the sky, appeared to come from over by 465W and headed over the closed St. Francis Hospital. NUFORC note: witness elects to remain totally anonymous, provides no contact information.
Occurred, August 28, 2010 2050 Location, Beech Grove. In shape, fireball. Duration, 2100. Characteristics: there were lights on the object. There was an aura or haze around the object. Fireball. I never seen anything like this before, so we pulled up to my house and I get out of my brother's car. His wife gets out too, as well as 3 kids, 1, 4 and a 6 years old. My brother stayed in the car. As soon as we got out, there was this fireball hovering over us. It seemed like it was 25 feet above us. As we looked at it and started to point and talk about it and try to get my brother out the car, it started to drift away pretty fast. Within seconds, it was a distance away and the fire went out. The UFO went to black and started to slowly drift down like it was landing. The trees got in the way and that was all we seen. My brother got out the car so late that he didn't see much of it, so he thinks it was some government crap just to mess with our head. I believe it's a UFO. I've been begging for the day to see one and I finally did. Now I want to see more of them. I just wish I had a camera when I seen this.
Occurred, December 18, 1975 0:30 Location, Claremont. In shape, disc. Duration, 10 minutes. Characteristics: there were lights on the object. The object emitted beams. Disc-shaped saucer over house with a laser light focused on home. I was driving on St. Road 136 towards the town of Claremont, Indiana, when I saw 3 white lights low in the sky. As the airport is 15 miles. So, I didn't think too much of it at first, other than the lights were too low for an aircraft on approach as well. They didn't seem to be moving towards me, but me towards them. As I drove nearer the lights, I stopped, and what I saw nearly took my breath away, permanently. Suspended about 25 feet above a home was a saucer. There were 3 cones coming from the sides of the saucer, one in the middle and 2 others at 45-degree angles from the middle one. At the tips of these cones were the white lights I'd been watching. On the underside of the cones were 3 colors: blue, red, green. None of the lights were flashing, and there were no windows. What terrified me most was that from the underside center of the saucer was the most incredible laser of white light, about 4 inches wide, focused on the roof of the house below. I rolled down my window and sat to wait for another car to come to confirm for me I wasn't crazy. I even pinched myself hard, thinking I might be dreaming. There was no sound at all coming from the saucer. In 1975, Claremont was still a 1-stoplight town on the outskirts of Indianapolis. The saucer was just south of the Dairy Queen by about 3 or 4 houses. After waiting 10 minutes for another car to come, I got scared and drove to the sheriff's station 2 blocks away, but no one was there. At the time, it was a 3-man operation. I was so freaked out I drove around for half an hour before heading home. The next night I was at a small gathering and hesitantly mentioned seeing a UFO when another friend said, "I saw it too." I told him, "Okay, you go in another room and draw a picture of it and then we'll compare." And by God, he had the same picture with the cones and all. He said he saw it around 23:30 flying towards downtown Indianapolis at a high rate of speed accompanied by 2 other saucers. They flew directly east until they got to Merritt. Ian Street divides the city E-W and goes N-S, whereby they took a 90-degree turn and sped down the center of the city. Hundreds if not thousands of people must have seen these saucers, yet there was no mention of it in any media. I believe the December 20th 75 sighting on your website is the same as mine. All I can remember is that it was likely a tour or fry night and it was the week leading up to Christians. Of all the reports I've read, none have ever mentioned anything about a laser focused on a house anything, and I've always wondered these last 35 years what that white laser could see for them. Oh, and the saucer was of a soft luster like I've never seen, like an egg painted a semi-matte silver. NUFORC note. Witness indicates that the date of the sighting is approximate.
Occurred, the 7th of August 2003 1800 Location, Claremont, in shape, disk duration, 5 minutes huge disc-shaped object moving within a quickly moving storm cloud. After a severe thunderstorm warning on television, I went outside to my balcony which faces to the west, also the direction the storm was coming from. I was watching the development of the storm cloud moving in under the calm clouds above when I noticed a dark spot on the edge of the storm cloud. It caught my eye because it was moving side to side in the cloud. After about 20 seconds of watching this odd dark spot, it came to the surface of the cloud and I could make it out to be a huge disc angled at about 45 degrees to the ground. I hollered to my girlfriend to come outside and look. At this time it had retreated back into the cloud and was just a dark spot again. She noticed it right away. As we watched it moving up and down and side to side with no apparent disturbance from the quickly moving storm cloud, it became completely visible again. I have no idea how big this was. I know it must have been at least 100 feet in diameter, most likely bigger. We were completely amazed at what we were seeing and could see it well enough to know it was not a weather balloon or anything else for that matter. It was a huge disc-shaped grey-colored object. Threat remained between 45 and vertical and moved distinctly throughout this storm cloud until it went overhead and over our building out of our sight. This storm cloud developed just east of us into a major lightning storm.
Occurred, the 5th of September 2014 0:30 Location, Claremont, in shape, circle duration, 15 minutes. Circles of light move in different directions behind clouds over west side of Indianapolis. Saying goodbye to a friend in my driveway, and my neighbors were outside seeing off friends of theirs, as well. Turned around to go back in the house, facing south, happened to look up to see circles of light in the night sky, which appeared to be behind the clouds that could be seen with the moonlight. At first, there were only 4. But then there seemed to be 6 to 8 of them, all the same size, and all moving in different directions and at different speeds. 2 would shoot out to the east and west, while the others moved around near the center. Then, 4 seemed to form a square, because it sort of created arched beams of light between them. They honestly looked like spotlights, only there was no trail of light going from the ground to the sky. Also, I don't think a person could move one of those giant spotlights that fast. There were no big events in that vicinity that night. I shouted to my neighbors to please look with me, so I know I am not goy. NG crazy. It was the strangest thing I have ever seen. After the lights moved around haphazardly behind the clouds for about 15 minutes, they just drifted off with them. Early that same day, helicopters were hovering in the area. Not sure if there is any connection.